What's going on, Knicks Nation? We have breaking news. Your New York Knicks have signed PJ Walker to a 10-day contract. This is just coming out from Shams Charania. PJ Tucker, excuse me. The New York Knicks have signed PJ Tucker. What did I say? PJ Walker. 10-day contract. 14-year-old veteran. And I was dabbling in the questioning whether or not the Knicks should move in this direction because PJ Tucker just recently got bought out, waived. Obviously, he hasn't, don't even think he's been playing this year. Obviously, he's about to hit 40. I think he's 39 years old, so he is an older veteran in this league, but he's an enforcer. He's an enforcer, right? Yesterday, I asked on the stream, I said, where are the dogs on this New York Knicks team? Well, ladies and gentlemen, PJ Tucker is a dog. He's a dog. He's an enforcer, gives the Knicks front court depth. Obviously, he's a veteran. He's been there, done that. And he's a guy that, currently, dealing with all these injuries now. Obviously, with Hukporti going down, PJ Tucker is one of those guys who can come into the game, and spurts. Does he play? We shall see. Does he, just provide veteran leadership, which he can provide? He has chemistry with Bridges. Those two are buddies. That's always important. You always want to make Bridges happy. So that's important. Sham said that PJ Tucker had multiple teams that he was deciding on signing with, and he wound up deciding with the New York Knicks. So all in all, I'm pretty happy about this deal. Look, it's not earth-shattering whatsoever, but PJ Tucker is a veteran in this league, and he's a dog. He's an enforcer. He's exactly what I think this Knicks team needed, in terms of the toughness aspect. Now, he can't bring toughness if he's on the bench. Right, he can't bring toughness if he's on the bench. But I think all in all, the Knicks looked at this and they thought that PJ Tucker can bring some veteran leadership. And maybe they envision a world where they plug him in spurts, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Obviously, we all know PJ Tucker he's bounced around the league. Milwaukee, Houston, Philly, Miami in spurts. 39 years old. He's a veteran in this league, but, all in all, it's a 10-day contract. The Knicks have one more spot left to sign a guaranteed deal. So right now they have 3 players on 10-day contracts. So I guess those 3 players are going to be battling it out for the final spot. And ultimately, I think PJ Tucker has a high probability on getting that spot. So if you're just joining, PJ Tucker is a New York Knick, 10-day contract. The league is in trouble. Ron B says, good signing. Lewis says, wish they would have brought Warren up or Brown. TA says, defense. James says, let's see if he gets to play. Yeah, let's see if he gets to play. Tony Tone says, I like it. Ron B says he can guard wings and post position. He's a big body. He's a big body. He can't just be thrown around. He's a veteran in this league. This is just coming out. I think Shams put out a story. Let's see if this is behind a paywall or if it is free. All right, so he says, Tucker held discussions with multiple teams since being waived by the Raptors ahead of March 1st deadline. Tucker has made 704 corner three-pointers over the last 12 seasons, the most in the NBA during that span. He's not this earth-shattering, offensive threat. He's not. But he is a corner three-point specialist. And Tucker has averaged 6.6 points, 5.5 rebounds, 1 steal over his career, and has shot 36% from three-point range. A proven playoff performer on both ends of the floor. And then he goes on to say the Knicks rank in the top 10 in corner three-pointers and are last in bench scoring. So making a depth signing at Tucker beneficial for both sides. Tucker is expected to be an option for Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau across all front court positions while providing support for Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, and Precious Achiuwa at center. So Shams is locked in. Like, Shams is locked into this stuff. So he's saying that Tucker is expected to be an option for the Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau. So, hey now. Tom Thibodeau can play him. He can fully, play him in spurts, 10 minutes here. Now, we have to see where his conditioning is at. He's 39 years old. He hasn't played in a while. So hopefully he's been keeping in shape behind the scenes. Hopefully he's been working out. But look, I said it yesterday. This Knicks team needs some dogs. we need some dogs back. This Knicks team needs some dogs back. And PJ Tucker is one of them dogs. He's a dog. Brings a toughness that we need. And we've been lacking that, guys. All season we've been lacking that. Randall out the door, Dante out the door. Those were two tough-minded players. And PJ Tucker brings that. Now, he doesn't nearly have the talent as Randall or Dante. I'm not saying that, but all in all, I think this was a signing where the New York Knicks looked at Tucker and they looked at his experience, they looked at his toughness, and they looked at his big game log. Like, he's had some big games, whether that's having a defensive possession, a defensive stop, here and there, whether, you can throw him in there in defensive packages. We shall see, obviously. But, to me, this was a solid piece, solid addition for this Knicks team because, guys, this Knicks team, that's what they were lacking, an edge. We were lacking an edge, right? What's going on, everybody? Appreciate every single one of you guys in here. Smash the like button, subscribe, all the good stuff. Hopping on here, impromptu live stream. PJ Tucker has signed with the New York Knicks, 10-day contract, but I'm assuming that he will sign a rest of the season guaranteed deal with the club. Look, Knicks obviously are dealing with some injuries. Mitchell Robinson's on a restriction. They've lost Hukporti for 4 to 6 weeks due to his knee injury. Precious has been dealing with the hamstring. Towns has been dealing with a knee situation. And, the Knicks are banged up at this point, and they needed some depth, and P.J. Tucker was a name. Once he got waived, remember, the New York Knicks cannot sign anyone that was making above, I believe, $12.5 million due to them being in the first apron. So once P.J. Tucker got waived, the first thing I did was look at his contract, and he was making less than that. So Ian Begley even tweeted that he thought P.J. Tucker was a valuable option for the New York Knicks, and they got it done. Look, P.J. Tucker is a New York Knick. Knicks 100 GM says he hasn't played in like 2 years. Calm Knight says P.J. Tucker's a beast at 6'10", 300 pounds. Yeah, 300 pounds. Nick says Tucker is 39. He is, man. He's 39. 39 years old. Knicks 100 GM says, what the F is this front office doing? Creed says Tucker isn't who we need. My retort to that is, I think, in terms of define what do you think we need, right? I'm sure they had this discussion in their front office. What do you think this Knicks team needs? They need depth. They need a bench. And they need someone who plays tough, who's not afraid, and who has played in big moments and has experience underneath his belt. And like I said earlier, P.J. Tucker and Mikal Bridges, they're good friends. And that's important. When you've seen Mikal Bridges, look, the Knicks have signed Landry Shamet, the Knicks have signed Campaign, and now P.J. Tucker. All of them have history with Mikal Bridges. So maybe they're looking at it like, look, let's bring in guys where Mikal's familiar with, and hopefully that will get him going. I don't know. That's an angle that I'm kind of just thinking in my head right now. But all in all, Tucker brings an edge. He brings a toughness that this Knicks team is lacking. Whether he plays, I think he will wind up playing eventually. But that's what I think he will bring. So Calm Knight says we just need an edge. That's it. Creed says I think we need a win. Creed, let's be honest with ourselves. Right? Let's be honest with ourselves. If TJ Warren was going to get signed by this New York Knicks team, like on a guaranteed contract from the G League, do you really think he would have played valuable minutes. Do you really think Tom Thibodeau would have went to him in certain situations? Now, depending on who you ask, you could either say yes or no. In my opinion, it would have been a no, right? It would have been a no. So I think the Knicks wanted more than just TJ Warren's, scoring outbursts, which he, obviously he can do. He can score in spurts. But Tucker is just a better defender. And I think the Knicks looked at his toughness. They looked at his edge. They looked at the experience. They looked at all that stuff. They looked at his chemistry with the guys. They looked at all that stuff. I'm pretty sure they ran this by a couple of the Knicks, and I'm sure, they're thrilled. Once again, Tucker is 39 years old. We're not expecting him to come in here and provide, earth-shattering, consistency. Like, I don't think that's going to happen, but I think you needed a dog, man. You needed a dog. Like, I literally just asked, after that loss to the Lakers, it just seemed like Mikal's, shying away from the rim. He's just looking lost, looking like a deer in the headlights. And it's like, you needed an edge to this team. And Tucker brings that. Freeway Hustle says, does he take Precious's minutes? I don't think so. I don't think yet. I don't think so right at this moment. Because remember, when Precious Achiuwa, when everyone was healthy, Mitchell Robinson, Karl Anthony Towns, Precious Achiuwa was out of the rotation. So Thibodeau has to get creative. Now, all in all, I don't know how the rotations are going to be. I don't even know if he's going to play right away. But I just think the Knicks looked at this. It's a 10-day contract. It's not, a guaranteed deal. So I just think the Knicks looked at this as, what else is out there? Like, yeah, we can go TJ Warren. Yeah, we can go Kiki. But are those difference makers? Not saying PJ Tucker is a difference maker, but he brings something that the Knicks have been lacking all season long, which is an edge, which is playoff experience. It's a veterans league, chemistry with some of your top dogs, top players on his team, Mikal Bridges included. And, he brings a toughness that this Knicks team has been simply lacking. And that right there alone, I think that's why the Knicks made this deal. So Nick says, we don't need a 39-year-old dog. Prezi says, yes, it's the final roster signing. So now we have 18-man roster, two-way players, Beauchamp, Watson, and Tucker with a 15-man standard roster. Yes, Prezi, what's going on? I appreciate you bringing that insight into the chat. 78 people in here. Appreciate every single one of you tuning in. If you're just joining, PJ Tucker is signing with the New York Knicks. Won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks 4 years ago. Can't believe it's been 4 years already, but played a valuable role in that championship run. And look, you're not asking him to be, 4 years ago, PJ Tucker. That's not what you're asking for. But he brings front court depth with the injury to Hug Porty on the shelf. He brings an edge. He brings a toughness. And, yes, he has bounced around the league. Yes, can he be a little bit crazy at times? Yeah, he can. But sometimes you need crazy. We need some crazy on this team, man. We need some crazy on this team, guys. That alone is why I like this signing. You needed that. Especially, look, the Knicks are on a 3-game losing streak currently. And, after the Lakers loss, and after, obviously we lost to the Clippers yesterday, it's just now we're without captain for, I would say, a month. I'm not saying PJ Tucker is going to come in here and change everything. He's not. But I'm just saying the Knicks looked at this as just a valuable signing. Just a guy, another voice in the locker room, another veteran presence in the locker room. And I think that's valuable in today's league, in today's NBA. I do. Just the experience alone, I think that's really valuable. And you can't overlook that. You can't. Yes, were there more talented players available? Yeah, there was. But the Knicks looked at other things as well. And I think that's why they wound up going with PJ Tucker. JAG says, Mikal needs more friends for motivation. That's an angle I looked at. PJ Tucker and Mikal Bridges, friendly boys. And, you know, maybe the Knicks did some deep diving and, you know, they brought in Shaman, they brought in Campaign, and look, all players that have played with Mikal Bridges, right? So let's go to PJ Tucker. Look, Raptors, Suns, Raptors, Rockets, Bucks, Heat, 76ers, Clippers, 76ers again. Let me just zoom in for you guys. He's played 3 games in 2023, 2024. So let's be realistic. He really hasn't played. He hasn't played in a while, right? He hasn't played in a while. And so I don't think the Knicks looked at this like, I honestly just think they needed an edge. They needed a guy to you know, give them an edge because they were lacking that for sure. I just think that's the direction the Knicks looked at this. They looked at PJ Tucker and what's out there currently, guys. I mean, there's really nothing out there in the market. Warren is nice. He is. Okeke, okay. But they've been in the G League. They've been playing well in the G League. And I just think PJ Tucker just brings an element to this team that we've been lacking. So, look, he can guard 4s. He can guard 5s. The dude is nearly what? Like 300 pounds? Like he's a big body. He's 6. Somebody asked what his height is. He's 6'5". He's 6'5". 6'5". Prezi says you need vets in the locker room, similar when the 2012 team with Kidd, Wallace, Martin. Knicks 100 GM says we needed a center for insurance with Mitch's health. Chris says I have no idea why they won't utilize Moses Brown. Yeah, look, Moses Brown was another option that a lot of Knicks fans were pointing at. Like, why won't we sign Moses Brown? He's like 7'2", 7'3", 7'4". But look, I'm sure this Knicks front office was evaluating everything. They were evaluating all the options. And they just simply came to the conclusion, like, Tucker was the guy that they pointed to and they pinpointed as a player that this current unit needs. And look, I've been repeating myself this whole time. And I just think that's valuable, right? Can't teach toughness. You can't teach heart. He's a dog. And let's be real with ourselves, guys. You've been lacking that. We have been lacking that for the entirety of the season. An edge. And that's what made last year's Knicks team so, you know, fun and so, you know, fun to watch. And they just brought an edge. And this team just hasn't had that. And we shall even see if Tucker plays, right? I can have egg on my face. I can have egg on my face. Like, he can come in here 10 days, and then after the 10 days, he's gone. But I truly do think he's going to stay with the club. I do. And we just go from there. You know, Mitch isn't playing back-to-backs. Towns is dealing with a knee injury. Precious is dealing with the hamstring. Huck Porty's on the shelf for the next 4 weeks. So Yvette says Knicks need a veteran in the locker room. Sometimes it all comes down to that. Appreciate you in the chat, Yvette. How are you, Yvette? David says, keep in mind it's just a 10-day, not a standard deal. Yes, David. Just a 10-day. 10-day contract, not a standard deal. But he can get signed for that standard deal. So we should just have to wait and see regarding that. Chris says, yeah, I get the Tucker signing, but he seems more temporary for long term. They should have brought up Moses. PJ can play the 5. He is a versatile wing who can guard 3 to 5 from Brandon Williams in the chat. Freeway Hustle says Thibs is going to run the starters into the ground. JB will be back to play with the G League team. And then Turf says old ass PJ Tucker. If I'm not mistaken, look, Knicks have signed 3 10-day deals, right? They can convert one of them to a standard, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. They can convert one of them to a standard contract, and then that's it. And then we have 15 standard contracts, and then we're maxed out. So, you know, right now, they have 3 of them. And Tucker is one of those players where you pinpoint it. You needed an edge. You brought him in. Cloven says Ian Begley did mention that the Knicks was interested in PJ Tucker. Hopefully he shows them some toughness. We traded toughness for softness. Clovens, appreciate the comment in the chat. Yeah, a lot of Knicks fans have had that same thought. A lot of Knicks fans, I do post games, and a lot of Knicks fans after the post games, they share the same sentiment. Like, a lot of Knicks fans think this team is soft, right? A lot of Knicks fans think this team is soft. And PJ Tucker is not soft. He's not. He's not soft. Pause. He's not soft. PJ Tucker's a dog, man. We need a dog. I like it, man. I do. Look, it's nothing too crazy, guys. It's a 10-day deal for PJ Tucker. We get it done. See what the timeline is saying right now. Once again, this is from Sham Sharnia. He says, Tucker held discussions with multiple teams since being waived by the Raptors ahead of the March 1st deadline for released players to be playoff eligible. So right there, what this line tells me is that he got word that, dude, you might play. We might need you. Because if he held discussions with multiple teams since being waived, and he had multiple options, and he chose the Knicks, he chose the New York Knicks, that tells me he's an option to play. Maybe he got word from Thibs. Maybe he got, a hint, wink, wink. Like, look, man, you come here, man. We need you off that bench. We need your toughness off that bench. We need you to hit those corner threes, right? We need that. So that tells me that he probably got word from the Knicks that he has a high probability of cracking the rotation to play. So, yeah. Bill GM says Tucker is renowned for his defensive skills, capable of guarding multiple positions and bringing toughness to the Knicks front court. Bill GM, appreciate you in the chat. Exactly. And look, he's 39 years old. How does he look? Is he in shape? How is his conditioning? All of those questions will probably be asked when he joins the team, if he joins the team out west. But good corner three-point shooter. Sham says in this article, a proven playoff performer on both ends of the floor. Tucker has played 104 postseason games in his career. So you needed front court depth, man. You needed a dog. You did. You did. And I look, at Knicks 100 DM, I know he hasn't played in 2 years. I know. PJ is mad old. He used to play dominoes with Bill Russell. 39 years old, PJ. We don't need him to come in here and, give us 10-point line. We don't need that, man. Come into the game and knock someone on the ass. You can't come in and paint, right? Just give us some of that. Come into the game, knock someone on their ass, and we move on. Maybe hit a corner three every now and then. But you really want to pinpoint, you really want to know what's his fitness like. What's his fitness like? But this little sentence from Shams just tells me that he got inclination from the Knicks, because he could have signed with other playoff teams, right? He could have. And maybe he thought the Knicks were his best option to get playing time. Now that the Knicks are dealing with injuries, captains down, and whatnot. And look, like I said, him and Mikal Bridges are boys. So that never hurts. Right now, you need Mikal Bridges to snap out of his funk. Look, I know he had 22 points versus the Clippers. Step in the right direction for Mikal Bridges. But now with the captain down, you need Mikal Bridges to kind of be, just be that guy. We need you. We need you to score, man. We need you to score. Real Talk Radio, appreciate the sub. Appreciate the sub. Vibe says we also need a center. Look, maybe the Knicks view PJ Tucker as their back, as one of the people that can come in and guard a center. Like, we have Cat, we have Mitch. Are we thin? Yes, we are. Huck Porty's out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And you don't know with meniscus a tear like that. It could be just I hope that he's back before the playoffs, but you never know. And look, Tucker can guard threes, fours, fives. Can't be pushed around. Can't be. Come to the game, knock someone on the ass, and let's go, man. The Knicks were lacking that, guys. Let's all be honest. The Knicks were lacking toughness. They were lacking that enforcer. They were just, we seen it with Mitch right when he came in. You see that you saw the difference he made. Game in Miami, diving for loose balls, like stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't show up in the box score. A lot of PJ Tucker's influence on the basketball game doesn't really show up in box scores. And look, I preface this by saying we don't know what he looks like. Like, we don't know. Again, he hasn't played in a while. All right, let's see what Ian did. Any of the Knicks reporters tweet out anything? Let's see what's going on. Did Begley tweet out anything? Okay. Here it is, folks. Knicks see PJ Tucker as an integral addition to a locker room that has young veterans, but none with the experience of Tucker brings. The 14-year-old vet will be received well in the room, has championship experience. Knicks also wanted someone with an enforcer mentality, which is why they've targeted Tucker. Knicks and Tucker are planning on a 10-day deal, as ESPN first reported. Club has a need at center, but Knicks people who targeted Tucker believe that the center position can be covered between Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, and Precious Achiuwa. There's your answer, ladies and gentlemen, from the great Ian Begley. Toughness, championship experience, enforcer mentality, all reasons why they targeted PJ Tucker. This first line right here is important. Knicks see PJ Tucker as an integral addition to a locker room that has young veterans, but none with the experience of that Tucker brings. He's not a star. He's not a superstar. He's not. Right? He's not. But you needed his edge. You did. Because, look, let's be honest with ourselves. A lot of Knicks fans have pretty much put a bow on this season. Not me. I'm just saying, a lot of Knicks fans have pretty much put a bow on this season. You already know how the movie ends. We've seen it the last couple of years. A lot of Knicks fans don't think we're getting past the second round. Don't even think we're getting past the Pistons in the first round. Right? So, you needed something to jolt the locker room. Right? And right here from Ian Begley, he states that Knicks see him as an integral addition to the locker room. That's important. That matters. That matters. It does. It's little things like that. Is he the most talented? No, he's not. But you could have just went with Warren. You could have went with Moses Brown. You could have went with one of them. But I say it again. Do you really think Tom Thibodeau, the coach of the New York Knicks, even if you brought in those players, was going to play them? No. You bring in Tucker. He's a guy Thibs can go to. Does he gain the trust of Tom Thibodeau? Maybe, since he's been around the block a few times. He's wrapped around the block a few times. Valuable information here from Ian Begley. He's locked in. Hit some of these comments. Appreciate every single one of you tuning in. If you're just joining, PJ Tucker is now a New York Knick. He's now wearing orange and blue. Appreciate you guys joining on this Saturday evening. Bill GM says with the 2021 NBA champion under his belt, Tucker offers valuable playoff experience and mentorship for younger teammates. Love that. Real Talk Radio says, great veteran for the bench. Great veteran for the bench. Also says, I've always loved PJ's defensive game. Tucker is known for his gritty physical defense. He can guard multiple positions, especially against a bigger wing. making a valuable asset in tough playoff matchups. Yeah. PJ looks like the dude on the Uncle Ben's rice box. I promise you he won't get any minutes. We're just too small. We need legit length. Hey, Carl, you never know. You never know. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not going to get minutes. I'm not. Because I don't look, is he going to play right away? You doubt it, right? We only have 20 games left of this season. Right, it's crunch time. It's go time, man. It's March 8th. It's go time. Playoffs start next month, guys. Playoffs start next month. Isaiah say great. Isaiah, what's going on? Appreciate you. Great locker room presence, guy. Maybe he could help Mikal with his mental toughness and overall toughness of the locker room. I really want to dig into that point because what we've seen from Mikal Bridges this season is just a player that really doesn't seem like he's engaged at times, especially in these marquee matchups, right? And I know they're boys, man. I know they're boys, played against one another. I've seen them on Instagram with one another. Mikal Bridges and PJ Tucker. Obviously, I'm trying to find a picture, but can't find a picture. All right, here we go. Tucker also has a sneaker game. He loves sneakers, PJ Tucker. So I truly do value that stuff, guys. I really do. I think they do as well. And I know it's kind of like corny. Like, I know it's like the angle is kind of like a lot of you guys probably don't see that angle, but you know, bringing in someone that's comfortable with Mr. Bridges, maybe it'll help him out, right? Maybe it'll help him out because Bridges just seems like he needs a kick in the butt. Needs a little kick in the butt, man. But a good step in the right direction against the LA Clippers for Mikal Bridges. I was saying we need someone like Isaiah Stewart type. He is all that, from John in the chat. Yeah. Guys, Isaiah Stewart on the Pistons tried to punk the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden at the end of the game. You remember that? And nobody seemed like they wanted to step up to him. He did this. I think he did this in front of Jalen Brunson, walking off the court. Like, nobody just seemed like he wanted they wanted any smoke. They wanted to step up to him. Tucker will lay your ass out, man. And you can't really say that about the guys on this Knicks team right now. I mean, I said yesterday I can count the amount of dogs on this team. Brunson's a definitely dog. We've seen what he brings in the playoffs. OG, I believe, is a dog. Deuce can bring that edge a little bit. Hart, edge. Knicks were lacking an edge, and PJ Tucker brings that. PJ Tucker brings that. Isaiah says PJ has the best shoe game in the league. Yes, he has the best shoe game in the league, man. What's going on? Appreciate every single one of you guys in here. And he really a 3-and-D. Dish Dash says be better off adding him to the coaching staff. AJ says PJ Tucker is washed up. Tucker is old and weak. Guys, PJ Tucker's not going to come in here and change everything, right? Look, the Knicks are still third in the Eastern Conference. We're still in a fairly good spot. A lot of people now want the Knicks to fall back to the 4th seed. This way, you can play the Cleveland Cavaliers in the second round instead of the Boston Celtics. But the way this Knicks season is going, you got 20 games left. You're going to probably be without your captain for the next month, right? And you're just bringing up Kolek from the G League. We'll see if Tyler Kolek gets some burn with Jalen Brunson out. I think he should get some burn. We can use his playmaking a little bit. But the Knicks pinpointed a need, right? They pinpointed a need. And that need was an edge. It was. Because this Knicks team was lacking that. But look. I'm on the timeline right now, and a lot of people are like, what's up with this signing? I don't get it. New York was 540 below the second apron before the PJ Tucker signing. The 10-day will cost $119,000. That is from Bobby Marks. Just trying to get more insight on the PJ Tucker deal on X. See if anyone else is tweeting. Any other Knicks reporters are tweeting anything about PJ Tucker. So if you're just joining, PJ Tucker is a New York Knick. This is from JC. PJ Tucker to Mikal Bridges. Yo, Mikal needs this, man. Mikal needs someone to just get up in his face like, come on, bro. You're Mikal Bridges, man. Get your head in the game. You cannot continue to take 6 shots in a basketball game in marquee matchups, right? I love that tweet. But as we know, we don't know the conditioning of PJ Tucker. We don't know the conditioning of PJ Tucker. He's 39 years old, right? PJ Tucker, after hearing that he'll play 40 minutes a game. That's hilarious, man. Knicks Nation, we will be okay. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We will, man. We'll be okay. We still got 20 games left. It's a lot of runway. This team got way softer with Cat. We do need another guts guy in the lineup. Yeah, man, we do. And right here from Ian Begley, he pinpoints that, right? He pinpoints that. It's a great paragraph from Ian Begley. A lot of strong word enforcer mentality. Knicks also wanted someone with an enforcer mentality, which is why they've targeted Tucker. That means the Knicks saw this current iteration of this Knicks unit, and they were like, yeah, we need some toughness on this group. We do. We need someone to lay someone out just in case, get in someone's face, somebody. Heck, put PJ Tucker in the game against Draymond Green and just like let's go. Let's go. Like, we need someone like that, man. We've been lacking that. So, love this paragraph from Begley. Knicks see PJ Tucker's integral addition to the locker room. It's important stuff. Like I said, it's not an earth-shattering move. It's not. But I like it. I like it. I really do like it. I like it. Once again, Tucker won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks. And quite frankly, he made some big plays in that series, if you don't remember. We all remember him too when he was guarding Kevin Durant, in that Eastern Conference Finals. Made some big plays, made Kevin Durant work. And look, that was so long ago, right? I know, I'm talking like that was like a year ago. It wasn't. It was a few years ago. But the Knicks view that as valuable to them, right? You're looking at this season. You're on a 3-game losing streak. The Knicks are looking at this like, look, we need an enforcer. We need another voice in the locker room. We just need a veteran presence in that locker room to, pick the morale up, pick the mood up. Because right now, say what you want, 3-game losing streak isn't what you want. Like, it's not. But hopefully, PJ Tucker comes in here, and we'll just see if he plays. But I do think if Ian Begley is having strong language like this in his tweet, and Sham said that PJ Tucker he was mulling multiple teams, and he chose the Knicks, I do think there's a path for him to play minutes for this basketball club. I do. And we just have to wait and see. Hot Boxing says, I like it. Knicks were a little too zesty. What's going on, Hot Box? Appreciate you in the chat. AJ Live says, Randall made Brunson and Hartenstein tough. If we need PJ to coach Bridges, then it's time to get rid of Tom. Anything to get Mikal going. I'm not saying PJ is going to come in here and get Mikal going, but those two hold a friendship, and that's valuable, man. And the Knicks are just looking at it that like that, you know. They could have just brought in Moses Brown or T.J. Warren, and like, but to me that's like moving chairs around. You're just moving chairs around. You're just shuffling chairs around at that point. Like, will those guys actually play? No, they wouldn't. Now, do you see a path where Tucker could play? I do. I really do. Knicks needed an edge, and they got their dog. They got their dog. Prezi says, we traded all of our grit. The season is not over yet, but we need more goons on the team. What do you guys think about Oubre Jr. and Yabusele from the Sixers? That's summer talk, Prezi, but I love what you said. The Knicks need more goons, man. Sometimes it just comes down to that. Like, I think the Knicks pinpointed that, and they looked at that, and they just signed P.J. Tucker. And they gave him a wink, nod. Like, look, you could get playing time. You could. We value your experience. We value your playoff experience. And we got a guy in Mikal Bridges who's struggling right now to find his own within this offense. So maybe another voice, maybe Mikal. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but these are conversations that were probably being had in the front office, right? So all in all, I think it's a solid signing, guys. It's not earth-shattering. The options out there weren't like there wasn't a superstar out there to sign. Like, there wasn't, bottom line, right? And the Knicks are dealing with a lot right now. Captain, get healthy soon. Still on the West Coast trip. Kings up next. And there's still about a quarter of the season left. You still got 20 games left of the season to kind of get right. And just get Tucker in here. Get him in your system. Implement, ways he can help your defense, or just ways he can just provide a spark. But he's a veteran, and the Knicks desperately needed that, in my opinion. That's why when he got released by Toronto, I said, look, I guarantee the Knicks are going to look at Tucker, and they did. On Saturday, March 8th, they signed P.J. Tucker to a 10-day contract. So I thought it was an okay move. AJ Live says P.J. Tucker is a washed goon. Stop it. You can't win. He's 39, so I got no kick coming, man. I don't. He's 39 years old. He could very well be washed. What's the downside, honestly? To me, there really is no downside. The downside is he's washed and you move on. That's the downside. And then you go with someone else. Fred Katz just tweeted, Knicks plan to sign P.J. Tucker. Knicks believe Tucker brings championship experience and can bring a veteran presence and an enforcer mentality to the locker room. So that's the second reporter who said that. Experience. It matters, man. Let's be frank, in a season where you kind of have seen this movie end the last couple of years. You see what the movie ends with, right? In a season where, look, this season has been like a weird season because right now the Knicks have a pretty good record, and first time since I think 97 they've started this well, and it just seems like I would say like 60 to 70% of Knicks fans are disappointed because they know how this is going to end. Like, how this is going to end. And not saying PJ Tucker can change that ending. Not saying that at all. But they just had to kind of do something to switch up the locker room and just switch up the voices and just bring a different element to this team, which we were, quite frankly, lacking for the entirety of the season. Dogs. Dante, dog. Randall, dog. Hartenstein, dog. All gone. Right? Cat, great player. Mikal, been okay. He's been inconsistent. Are they dogs? I'm not calling them out. I'm just saying. We were lacking that. And that's why a lot of Knicks fans fell in love with that team last year. Right? So, just have to wait and see. Terrell Lyles says it's going to be for the rest of the season. Nato says, how about we sign Christian Wood? Nah, he's a turnstile. He's a turnstile. Thought process. Appreciate the sub. Stanley says, I'm surprised because I would think Moses Brown or a point guard would be more logical than Tucker, but Tucker is a dog. Dog. Sometimes that's it. Dog. Look. Dog. Come on, man. I know this was years ago, but don't mess with Tucker, man. Don't mess with him. And this first clip, right, with KD and PJ Tucker arguing with one another, they're friends. In real life, they're friends. Tucker don't care. No friends on the basketball court. Ain't no friends on the basketball court. Once that ball gets tipped up, I'm sorry, you're my enemy. Look, these highlights, they're older highlights, but it gives you kind of an idea of what Tucker can bring. Right? Motivate your teammates, get in the opponent's face. Just give us an edge, man. And we needed that. We needed that for sure. So PJ Tucker's a Knick. PJ Tucker's a Knick. Prezi says our new big man coach. Stanley says, I guess Ian Begley knew this was a strong possibility because he mentioned the possibility. Yeah, he mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. And I tweeted a couple when PJ Tucker got released from Toronto. I tweeted, I'm like, it's intriguing because at that time the Knicks were just lacking a sense of toughness, and they're just lacking. Nothing was, they lacked that. And I thought Tucker, obviously 39 years old, you don't know what he looks like. He brings a sense of toughness that we need. He's a dog, man. He's a dog. 10-day contract, so we'll see. We shall sing. Tyrell says Thibs bringing in the players in who will fit. Exactly. Look, you could have brought in Warren. You could have brought in Moses Brown. I thought Moses Brown was a strong possibility because of the lack of the Knicks' depth in the front court. But they viewed PJ Tucker as a guy who can guard 3 to 5s and, kind of be a backup center. Look, he's 6'5", and he's built like a tank. Right? And he's a good defender. Now we don't know what he looks like at this point of his career. We don't. That you got me on. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know what he looks like. He can come into the training facility in Tarrytown in bad shape. And at that point, I don't know. But I doubt that. He's a professional athlete. I doubt that. I'm pretty sure he's been staying in shape. I'm pretty sure he's been locked in the gym. And, we shall see. We shall see what comes from this. Stanley says if Tucker gives us 10 minutes of rebounding and D along with corner 3-point shooting, it might work. Yeah, good corner 3-point shooter. Great, not great, but throughout his career, he's been known to knock down those corner threes, right? If he's open, he's going to shoot it. He's not going to hesitate. He's going to shoot the basketball, and he's going to, make a few occasionally. And if he's playing, like, just imagine those lineups. Look, Hart played 46 minutes yesterday, guys. 46 minutes. And we're already seeing the injuries start to, like, I'm starting to have flashbacks. I don't like it. Like, I don't like it at all. Knicks needed someone to come in here, just give them 10, 15 minutes, and just call it a day. Bring some toughness, bring an edge, but you can't have guys getting burnt out already. You can't. It's March 8th. Cat is dealing with the knee situation. Hart is dealing with a knee situation as well. Brunson is on the shelf for a month, right? So we'll see if Thibs expands his rotation now and evolves. Because, in my opinion, you got to. I think until when Jalen Brunson comes back, Kolek needs some playing time. I do. And maybe you sprinkle Tucker in there and we just go from there. I do think Kolek needs some playing time, in my opinion. What's going on, Nostalgic? Appreciate you in the chat. AJ Live says PJ Tucker ain't LeBron. Ain't no one saying PJ Tucker is LeBron. I am not comparing PJ Tucker to LeBron James. No one is LeBron James. Terrell says Tucker gives Hart rest. Exactly. Josh Hart played 46 minutes last night. 45, 46 minutes. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't. In a loss, by the way. And you're already without Jalen Brunson. I cannot have the same thing repeated again. That cannot happen. We cannot get to the playoffs banged up. That cannot happen. Like, we do not need that to happen. Knock on wood. I'm not. That can't happen again. And like Nostalgia says, I'm not mad at the move. Defend is defend. Yeah. Those of you just joining, PJ Tucker is signed to a 10-day contract. Appreciate every single one of you guys in here just chopping it up. Saturday evening talking Knicks, man. The Knicks needed to kind of do something, shake things up in the locker room, and they did. They brought in Tucker, who has a friendship with Mikal Bridges, who is an enforcer and who has experience, who's been to a finals, won an NBA finals. So now you got guys in that locker room, right? Mikal's been to a finals. Cat's been to a Western Conference Finals. Tucker's won a finals. You needed some more experience in that locker room, and that's why the Knicks were lacking. That's what the Knicks were lacking, and they brought it in. But to answer your guys' question, Ian Begley states the club has need at center, but Knicks people who targeted Tucker believe the center position can be covered between Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, and Precious Achiuwa. So that tells me they believe in those guys. They can cover the position. Or they think Ariel Hukporti can get back by the playoffs. Hopefully, we pray. So, look, Tucker can guard centers. Tucker can guard fours. Tucker can guard threes. Tucker could knock someone on their ass. And that's what we needed, man. That's what we needed, man. Bottom line. Why do you think they're getting the word out to the Knicks reporters? This is from Ian Begley. Knicks also wanted someone with an enforcer mentality. They see it. They recognize it. We see it. They see it. We all see it. They recognize it. And Tucker brings that. They're getting this out to reporters. And look, we see it, man. Just trying to see if I see anything else, but nothing else on the timeline. All right, let's get off X. Nostalgic says former Suns with Mikal. Tuck played with Mikal, Shamit, and Cam. Yes, we brought up that aspect too. PJ Tucker has a relationship with Mikal. Did not know he played with Shamit and Cam, but appreciate you bringing that knowledge into the chat, Nostalgic. Yeah, and we brought up the angle of who's the guy that this New York Knicks team is trying to get going currently at the moment. It's number 25, Mikal Bridges. Got to get going. It's time. It's go time, man. It's go time. And look, is Mikal that person who kind of needs another voice in his ear to kind of get his confidence up? I don't know. But I don't even know if that's what I'm saying is if the Knicks thought that. But I'm just saying it can't help. It can't hurt, excuse me. And that's also valuable for this Knicks locker room. So PJ Tucker's a Knick, guys. PJ Tucker is a New York Knick. Terrell says, don't forget Tucker wants a coach who's going to scream on defense. That's why he chose the New York Knicks. Look, he had suitors once again from Shams. PJ Tucker had multiple suitors, and he chose the Knicks. So that gives me an inclination that he got word that he is going to play. That gives me word that Tucker is probably going to play. So, did have a situation with the Clippers where he didn't really want to play for them, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't really want to play for Lou, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't show up. So, I guess you can say he has kind of like an attitude problem. But if he's coming here willingly, if he chose the Knicks over multiple suitors, he wanted to be here. And that's always a positive sign. So, just trying to get the language. So, right here, Tucker held discussions with multiple teams since being waived before agreeing to a deal with the New York Knicks. So, he had multiple suitors. Multiple suitors. Then he says the Knicks rank in the top 10 in corner three-pointers and are last in bench scoring, making a depth signing at Tucker beneficial for both sides. Tucker is expected to be an option for Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau across all front court positions. So Shams is the most locked in reporter out there, man. Shams. He says he's expected to be an option. So he's expected to play. That's what I'm reading. He's expected to play. Cam, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat. Appreciate you in here. Definitely need a good 3-and-D vet, tough in games, and hopefully will be on practice too. Behind the scenes stuff, man. In practice, just that another voice, a veteran leadership. Man, he has tons of experience, man. It doesn't hurt to bring a guy like that in your locker room. It doesn't hurt at all to bring Tucker in the locker room. And the Knicks pinpointed that. They value that, and I do too. I do too. What's going on, Cam? Appreciate you in here, Cam. Ern says PJ would do cardio and zero asset for the New York Knicks. It's a waiting game. It's a waiting game. I see all of you guys, most of you like it. Some of you are frustrated. Some of you wanted another option. But to be quite frank with you guys, it was Knicks pinpointed a need. And to me, they filled that need with signing PJ Tucker in terms of an edge, toughness, veteran leadership. They were missing that the entire season, right? Our record states that we're a pretty good team. We're not great against the elites, but it's been a lot of doom and gloom in around Knicks Nation. There has been. And if we look at the standings, well, you got 19 games left. Sheesh. 19 games left. Third in the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee is 2 games from you in the loss column. You're 3 games ahead of Milwaukee. So if you finish third right now, if the season ended today, you would play the Detroit Pistons in the first round of the playoffs. And most of you in here, I would pick the Knicks in that series, but a lot of people would say that series would be a toss-up the way this Knicks team is playing. Obviously, if we don't have Jalen Brunson, that's another story, but I do think he'll be back in time for the playoffs. But what was being floated out there is fall back to the 4th seed, play Cleveland in the second round, play Indiana in the first round, Cleveland in the second round, because a lot of people think we have a better shot against Cleveland because of what we did 2 years ago. But be careful what you wish for, because Cleveland is a totally different team, totally different coaching staff, and they are pretty much the best team in the NBA right now. So Boston is a machine. We know that. And they're super talented. They've smacked us 3 times this season. Cleveland almost beat them first week of the season. We gave up a big lead. 2 weeks ago, they beat us. They demolished us in Cleveland. And look, Knicks recognize the need, and I think They filled it. They filled it. Terrell says 3-and-D. He gonna love OG Anunoby. Love that. Knicks 100 GM says we are lucky to avoid play-in without Jalen Brunson. Yeah, without JB, obviously we want him healthy. And we know the Knicks to be very vague about injuries, so they're not going to give us much. They say in 2 weeks he will be reevaluated, and we'll just go from there. So who knows what that means? I hope that all we know is the facts. It's not broken. We expect him to be back before the season starts, and we just go from there. But you can't have on March 8th your players get burnt out. So that tells me, look, Tucker needs to come in here and give them at least 10 minutes a game, right? You can't sustain another injury. You can't. Because it'll just be the same song and dance every year. At least for the last couple. And 2 years ago, too. So Tucker needs to come in here and give them some minutes, provide rest for the guys, and we just go from there. Tibbs needs to evolve, man. Got to expand the rotation now. You do. Need to see Kolek in there. Tucker's available. Play him. This tells me they don't really, Daddy A was drafted by this New York Knicks team in the first round, but he's more of a next year option, right? They're grooming him. They're developing him. Still super young, has a bright future in this league. But this Knicks team currently constituted, they built this team to win, right? They built this team to win. And they are not playing well against the elites. And hopefully Tucker can give them a kick in the ass. Not saying he'll change everything, but you guys know what I mean. Isaiah says, I still believe that Mikal is the X factor on this team, and I think PJ can help him become the man we need. Appreciate the comment, Isaiah. Yeah. Appreciate that angle. We brought up that angle. Terrell says, Tucker benefits so much players to be the one guy. He gives Hart rest, saves Mitch from overplaying, and gives Towns a rest off of subbing. Yeah. That's if you believe Tom Thibodeau is going to play him. And everything, if we're reading the tea leaves with Begley's comment, with Sham's comment, if you're reading the tea leaves, that tells you that Tucker's going to play. Mulling multiple options, chose the Knicks, veteran, won a championship, chemistry with Mikal. Everything's aligned. It's all aligning for PJ Tucker to get playing time. Because on March 8th, you can't. Cat's already dealing with a knee injury. That's the last thing we need. That is the last thing we need. So, Tom Thibodeau, man, you got to expand the rotation. You do. You do. Next up. Carl says, all jokes aside, PJ can be a solid 3-and-D player, but I'm not crazy about his height. Everyone on the roster is 6'5". Yeah, he plays taller than what he is. Obviously, he uses his body a lot. And, this is a man who was giving KD, some fits. I really want to see what his conditioning is at. Plays bigger, strong core, strong upper body, strong legs. He's a tough guy. And I'm thoroughly okay with this signing. I really am. And we just have to see if he, plays, in the next. I don't think he's gonna play this road trip, but maybe when they get back home, who knows? Right? Who knows? But Knicks are on a 3-game losing streak. Appreciate you guys hopping on here once again. Knicks signed PJ Tucker. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I do post games, videos. Also started a new series. If you want to become a member, I am starting to do film breakdowns and would appreciate the support on that end. I do film breakdowns for the members, and we can have some fun. Links are in the description. Got a Discord, Patreon in case you guys wanted to support. And look, Tucker is a Knick. We are just getting, things rolling here. And we have a podcast tomorrow. We'll probably talk more in depth about this, but appreciate you guys tuning in on this Saturday evening. And we will be back tomorrow doing a pod at 9:30 with my podcast co-host Chris. We'll talk more about this, but PJ Tucker is a New York Knick. Follow the socials. Links are in the description. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation. Appreciate every single one of you tuning in. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. No Knicks basketball for the next couple days. Rest up, man. It's been a tough last few days for the New York Knicks, and hopefully, they can snap out of it. But we got another opportunity on Monday. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 9:30. We'll talk more about this and obviously the rest of the road trip. Once again, appreciate the support. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Anthony. I'll catch you guys next time. Enjoy your weekend. As always, Let's Go Knicks. Peace.